The One Network podcasts, live from London, are sponsored by Lamarki Luxury Travel. Specialising in bespoke luxury holidays for over 30 years with the very best local concierge and property managers to look after your every need, Lamarki provide the very best in exclusive holiday destinations in Saint-Tropez, Sardinia, Tuscany, the French Riviera, and more. Lamarki offer a unique service to enable clients to enjoy single or multi-destination holidays and will take care of your every need, from arrangements with limousines, yachts and helicopters to bodyguards, chefs, butlers, nannies, and club and restaurant reservations. If you would like to find out more about the stunning array of bespoke Lamarki holidays, you can visit www.saintropezluxury.com.
Hello everybody, welcome to the One Podcast, the future of electric vehicles, where today I will be talking to some of the biggest names in the electric vehicle world who are making great strides in innovative technology and design within the sector. Firstly, let me introduce myself and my co-host today. I'm Emma Mattocks, founder and director of the One Network and advisor at the Federation of Small Businesses. And my co-host today is Kevin Smith, who is the director at Booman Partners and is also a keen car enthusiast. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Emma. Really good to be here with such a great company.
Thank you. Lovely to have you with us. So without further ado, allow me to introduce my two guests today, Gianfranco Pizzuto, who is the founder and CEO at Automobili Estrema, and Joseph Salama, CEO and founder of E-Classics UK and also of Jack's Garage. Thank you very much for being with us here today, gentlemen.
Thank you, Emma. To be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. So, Gianfranco and Joseph, we met a few years ago in London at Jack's Garage. And if we can take our listeners back to where you both were with your companies at that time and where you are now.
Joseph, you want to go ahead?
No, you go. You're the.
Okay. Well, 2 years ago, Emma, as you know, I was consulting E-Classics. And I enjoyed very much the couple of months that I was doing it, because it gave me the chance to meet with you, Emma, and of course with Joseph and his team. And you know, he has a very great team where he has his. I love the garage. I really love the location, and
absolutely.
We had great fun. The days we were together. We traveled. Quite a lot for the couple of days we were together, and it happened also that we were looking after some charging station, and we had the wrong card. We had to sleep in the van all together, Joseph. So it is amazing actually to pioneering, electric mobility if you have the right spirit. And I could do it for a couple of months. And then I had to move to other project actually. And then, COVID-19 struck, and this gave me the chance to reset a little bit my plans. And together with a group of friends and engineers and also investors, we decided to do what I call the grande bellezza, the big, beautiful thing, translated from the Italian, which is to create what we all loved since we were little, which is a supercar, a hypercar, something that strikes when you see it. And we put all our passion, and in the last now 14 months, this was our project, and to bring this to accomplish and then being built, this will be the next move. And I think I was talking enough, and Joseph, sorry, I'm passing the words to you now.
So
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, when I met Gianfranco in Ladbroke
But you
Grove,
can call, you can call me Franco, guys. It's short for Gianfranco, and it's maybe easier. And my friends call me Franco anyway, so I'm Franco for you guys.
Franco, it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Franco. So when Franco visited my workshop in Ladbroke Grove with the Germans from E-Classics, we had a big, very exciting couple of days, big event, Sky News, couple of magazines. We did a tour of the south of UK and met some other EV conversion specialists. So 2 years ago, I was in negotiations with E-Classics to signing up as the UK sole provider of the products from E-Classics. And now we've got the contract shortly after that, and then Corona hit. And quite recently, we've got permission to assemble these kits in the UK, these classic vehicle conversion kits, initially focusing on the Volkswagen Classic, the iconic camper van and Beetles and Carmen Gears and the early Porsches, and using all the very latest FACT OEM, which means original equipment manufacturer, EV components. So batteries from the ID3, motors from the e-Golf and ID3. So all the very latest components. It's their third generation EV conversion kits, which it's a rather long explanation, but it's the very latest and greatest electric conversion for your classic vehicle. Since then, Franco was headhunted for far more illustrious projects, building the Fulminia. Is this meaning thunder or lightning in Italian?
It means lightning bolt.
Lightning bolts. Fabulous name, really. And yeah, that's
or also lightning fast.
I like lightning bolts. I like bolts. Or fast is. Yeah. It's going to be very fast.
Yeah, it is.
I can't.
Great names. So, and in that time, I've managed to stay friends with both of you somehow. You're all the way in Italy, Franco, but thanks to LinkedIn and social media, I've been able to follow your journey and just really enjoyed seeing what's happening. And also with your good self, Joseph. I'm in North London, you're in West London, but thanks to social media and the short distance, we've managed to stay friends. And so if I could ask you, so Franco, with the beautiful Fulminia, if that's how you pronounce it correctly, forgive my English.
No, very good.
Thank you.
Perfetto.
Thank you. What's been your biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge that you faced with the Fulminia?
Initially it was, I think I heard about Zoom and all this new digital way to communicate. I heard it, but I never loved them, to use them, because I prefer the personal touch, the personal contact, and I'm used to travel since all my life, taking the train or a plane or traveling, whatever. And then suddenly I had to get used to this new digital way to be social and to interact and to work. This was initially for me, very challenging, because then we have different time zones. The team is coming from the UK. I have Jerry Hughes, and then I have which is located not far away from you, and then I have someone which is Yannick Voss, which is in Copenhagen. Then I have Roberto Olivo in Torino. I have Alexander Klatt in California. I have Mark Lander of Imecar in Turkey and Antalya. Try to figure out what is a time where we can meet.
Yeah.
Normally you would say, okay, let's meet in Modena this day or 2 days, and we are going to discuss all in once. And this was honestly very challenging. Of course, it's useless to tell you that, of course, the economical part is also a challenge. To find the funds to do the whole thing. This obviously is never easy, and it's sometimes even tougher. I would say, so combining the old way we used to work. And then, I'm not very, very young anymore.
Hey, enough.
I'm still feeling young, but I just turned 60 July 8th.
Ah, congratulations. You
thank
don't
you
live
very
a day
much.
over 40. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Italian cuisine.
Yeah, I probably, and maybe, the fresh air here in the Alps, and that all helps. And maybe also being engaged all the time, have your brain working. So at the end, I would say I managed to go through and then do the jump into the digital world. As you see, I can pretty much understand what you say, guys, and we can interact even if we are far away. Of course, a little bit of the body language is missing, when you face someone in person. But I think it is okay. I think we can manage that in the future better and better. And now next challenge is, let's find the money to get the baby out.
Right. Gotcha. The exciting bit. Lovely, thank you. And Joseph, same question to you, my good friend. What's been your biggest challenge with the project that you're working on?
Corona, COVID, Brexit, supply chains in Germany for their manufacturing of these conversion products was hugely affected, still is. Slowed everything down. Brexit, again, we're looking at anywhere between 5 to 30% import tax on customs for imports, and still not, and everybody, and mountains of paperwork and bureaucracy that simply wasn't there in December last year. And so those are the biggest challenges right now. Also, the software integration has been quite challenging, because the charging network, the EV charger network in the UK is slightly behind. It's a generation behind the European EV charging network. The software that they actually use, there's something called an electronic handshake that the vehicle must make with the rapid charger, specifically the rapid chargers. And if anything's out of a line, even a little finger, the handshake doesn't work and it doesn't charge. So the charging network in the UK is slowly but surely getting improved. I think we're going to come back onto that in a question further down the line.
Yeah.
But those have been the biggest challenges, to be honest.
Okay, and can I jump in maybe and ask? You've touched upon technology. You're both very much involved in electric vehicles and the technology behind both developing the car and developing the actual technology and converting other vehicles. But where do you see the use and the technology in terms of everyday use of vehicles, electric vehicles, in say 30 years from now? Because it's changing at such a rapid pace. Technology everywhere is changing at such a rapid pace, but electronic vehicles are just this is the time when they're moving at a much greater pace. So tell me what your vision, what your expectations are for the future.
I would say in 30 years there might be no need to own a vehicle. As we already see in major cities, there is car sharing, and there is a lot of services, and all the little scooters, the bicycle. We are discovering the bicycle again. I don't know in the UK, but in Italy, if you want an e-bike, you wait months, even a year or two, if you want to have some specific models. So I think that we are going away from owning personal passenger cars more and more, and you see it already in a new generation of the young generation being now 18, 19, and 20. I see also my son. He's actually in college in Munich, in Germany, and he doesn't want a car because it's an impediment. Where are you going to park? It's a fixed cost, which is high, very high, and I think that in the future for young generation, it will be tougher to make the same kind of income we used to have when we were 18. You know, I think the median income will be lower, and so you're going to skip some expenses, and you will prefer something else. And the young generation prefer to have the latest smartphone rather to have or own a car. So what I see in the next already 10, 15, 20, and of course 30 years is more to have mobility services and less to have ownership of individual automobile or vehicle, whatever it is, which is a good thing for everyone, for the environment, of course, and also for the quality of life. Imagine a city like London with 10% of the cars you see on the road today, 90% are away. How much space can we reclaim? How much more parks, how much more amusement areas, and how much more construction for housing, which will eventually, hopefully, get cheaper. You know, I see the, my personal outlook is that we're going to be very used to have all the accessibility of being mobile with services, but less with individual ownership of a vehicle. And of course, there will be always someone that will, like you, own a beautiful car, and like, horses are still here, even if we don't use the horses anymore to go to work. But it's a sport, it's an entertainment. And I think this will be, the ownership will be linked to entertain someone on doing like a racetrack race with friends or something like that, rather than commuting with the personal automobile.
Yeah, so that's really interesting angle on it. But maybe Joseph, can you tell us something about what you think that in terms of the technology perspective? What about sort of?
I agree, I must agree with what Franco was saying. Those hitting the nail on the head. Only those with a significant level of disposable income will be able to afford a vehicle, be it an autonomous or self-driving EV, or even a classic petrol sports car, from the 50s or 60s, a classic vehicle. So by and large, most vehicles will be autonomous, self-driving. The technology is already there. In the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're going to see a monumental autonomous vehicles and ride sharing. So if you like, much like Uber, that's self-driving, with many Uber ride sharing, basically electric Uber ride sharing, self-driving vehicles without a driver. So there's a project currently underway through Volkswagen called Moya, MOIA, in Ealing, West London. There's a pilot scheme whereby except there's a driver. It's not autonomous, but it's ride sharing. So I believe only those with a significant level of disposable income, those wealthy few who can afford, or those who really choose to spend the money on their own vehicle, will be able to afford their own vehicle, be it autonomous, self-driving, electric, hydrogen, or petrol. I think the way we need to look at it, if we look back in history, Franco mentioned the horse and cart. About 100 years ago, everyone was using horse and carts, horses. That was the way to go. And it was, and there was a monumental shift in the 5-10 year period where 90% went to cars, and the horses. In London, I met him the other day again. He was telling me that just down the road here, they used to have a stable.
We lost you there, Joseph. Hold on. Sorry, Joseph,
Hello?
we lost you there. Yeah, hello. So don't worry. So what I will do is I will get my team to edit this podcast, because I've already spoken over Kevin once. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. You
cut out there. So do you want to just take it back, I think about 20 seconds and go again? Because they can just cut and stick it together.
You remember what I was saying? Horse and carts.
Correct.
Yeah. There will be a monumental shift, much like what we saw in the last century when everybody went from horses through to combustion engine vehicle, ICE, internal combustion engine vehicle, petrol vehicles. And I believe we're going to see another monumental shift in the coming years to autonomous, electric, and eventually hydrogen-powered vehicles. And ride sharing will be a big thing, I believe. Hello?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So, Emma, I think you had a question next.
But Emma has the micro switched off.
Hello, sorry. Yeah, so I agree. I agree with both of you. I really do, and it's lovely that we're all on the same hymn page. Yeah, totally agree with both of you. One of the biggest fears of many potential buyers of electric vehicles is range anxiety. And I was at the Goodwood Festival recently, and I had some great conversations about this. How do you see this being resolved, and how quickly?
Well, you know, the what Joseph was mentioning before with the charging network, you know, this that UK has the older version of the software and so on. This is really still the tricky part. You know, it is really upsetting if you are starting a journey and you don't know if you can charge. And actually, there is only one company that did the homework very well, and this is Tesla. You know, and why so? Because Tesla had nothing in the shelves. You know, they had no combustion engine. They had no components from the other generation of vehicles. So they had to start everything from scratch. And they understood very, very fast that if they wanted to sell their electric cars, they needed to create the infrastructure. And mentally, all the other companies were not ready for that because they had never to think about creating a charging network. I mean, the oil companies, they did it by themselves. There was no need to tell Shell or BP or Exxon or Chevron, whatever you want to call them. There was no need to tell them, hey, put up a gas station here. So this was the way they did for over 100 years. Think about that. So how are you going to shift quickly? It's not coming from the establishment. It's always someone that is coming, which is thinking out of the box. And we have to admit that Elon Musk is one of these guys, and not only in the electric mobility, he's also revolutionizing the rocket science, etc., and many other industries. So what we are going to have for the next couple of years is that the people that know they can charge at home or at work are going to buy electric cars, because let's tell what I'm doing. For instance, 80-90% of my time using the electric vehicles I have parked in my home is because I'm using my own network. I have my own plug where I can charge my battery. And if you can do it also at work where Joseph is in his garage, this is never going to be a problem, because it's very rare that you do more than 300 miles in a single day. And it is only then that you will need a network when you exceed the 300 miles, because right now, more or less all brands have cars with a capacity of 300 miles in range with one single charge. So how many of us need to do more than this? Very little. So in this case, if you don't want to risk, to get troubles by the quick charging, etc., then you should probably still keep the car you have. And I think in maybe 3 to 5 years, finally everyone will take the Tesla approach and put thousands of charging rapid stations around the continent.
I see. Joseph, do you have anything to
I agree wholeheartedly with Franco. It's the charging network, the EV rapid charging network really needs to improve. We're seeing this in the UK with a company called GridServe, GRID Serve. They've actually got the contract for all the motorway charging points, and they've taken over from a company called Ecotricity, which had notorious which was notoriously bad for, you get to a service station, you find the unit's not working, or it's not accepting your payment card, or there's some kind of issue with it. And so more than half the time I used Ecotricity, I have been using, it's failed. Now GridServe has just recently, in the last couple of weeks, got the UK contract. So they're implementing these fantastic third generation chargers, which are the equivalent of the European chargers, rapid chargers. Again, drawing from what Franco said, not many people do more than 200-300 miles in a single go. And that's specifically when you need these rapid chargers, when you're going from London to Scotland or to Cornwall and you need to stop at a service station and bang, get a rapid charge. You're not there for more than 30 minutes, an hour tops, to have a coffee, use the facilities and crack on in the motorway. Another two things that will alleviate this new mental trauma that we've termed range anxiety is battery technology. So the more advanced in time, batteries will inevitably be more advanced and hold a larger charge and be lighter and will afford a greater range. Lastly, because I know we haven't got all the time in the world. Lastly, there's a contraption called range anxiety battery packs. Briefcase size contraption, you stick in the boot, it's got 1 or 2 battery modules. If you get into trouble or you go to a charger and you find it's not working and you can't charge, or you run out of charge in the middle of nowhere, you plug this in, you get the lead out of your boot, out of the boot of the vehicle, from the range anxiety pack, you plug it into the charging ports and you get another 5, 10, 30 miles relative to the size of the pack. And that gets you to safety. And then you just charge that up when you get home or at work or wherever you can find a charger. And they are for emergencies. So I do believe we will see the rise of these range anxiety battery packs quite significantly. It's actually one part of my business plan when we finally get an investor, research and development facility to generate and manufacture these range anxiety packs specifically to address the range anxiety issue.
Okay, fantastic. So what about, we're talking a lot about electric vehicles, of course, because that is the topic that we are discussing, but it would be wrong for us to totally ignore hydrogen. So hydrogen fuel cells are one of those things that have been talked about for decades, but all of a sudden they do seem to be making some sort of progress. So we are now seeing hydrogen buses, hydrogen lorries, and indeed hydrogen cars. So, you two guys are very much in the EV world. Do you see hydrogen technology as potentially being a threat to electric cars? Do you see them coexisting? Do you see hydrogen never really quite getting there? And if they're not a threat, why not? So I'd just be really interested in how you see the two going forward from where we are at the moment. EV obviously has a much further advance in where we are, but will hydrogen catch up, I guess, is the question.
Just for our listeners at home, they can't see Joseph Salama's face. Joseph, you're making the most wonderful, bewildered, deep thought.
Specialising in bespoke luxury holidays for over 30 years with the very best local concierge and property managers to look after your every need, Le Marquis provide the very best in exclusive holiday destinations in Saint-Tropez, Sardinia, Tuscany, the French Riviera and more. Le Marquis offer a unique service to enable clients to enjoy single or multi-destination holidays and will take care of your every need, from arrangements with limousines, yachts and helicopters to bodyguards, chefs, butlers, nannies and club and restaurant reservations. If you would like to find out more about the stunning array of bespoke Le Marquis holidays, you can visit www.saintropezluxury.com.